Why don't you simply advise people not to worship the deity Dorje Shugden and instruct others to be tolerant and avoid violence against those who continue to worship it?
Nobody harming on them.
But I've seen the calls for violence in the newspaper.
No.
I've seen it with my own eyes.
No. I think rumors.
다도 친구를 어지요. 다다가 못은 대는 얘기를 삼 잔다나. 지송을. 담장 설지마. 랭게야 설지 죽사지 차버려. 나토베 그돌이야. 만자셔. 자고로 셰. 즉 상만이 지지 인세 직럽. 뭐요 내서가 토윤도 되더라 맹행시. 용구도가 벌거 내수에 되는 용령도 지도가. 제가 자상게 물론이는 멍구지기 믹스에고 코르란체 야구 총샤. 엔차즈 지진수에 대대신 체니 차와 존재셔야 돼 계속서.
Amaseki from Hunsu has had her life badly affected by the ban on the worship of the deity Dorje Shugden. Today, I will be asking her about what happened.
What happened to me is a huge emotional issue. My husband passed away, and I had to prepare for his death ritual and prayer ceremony in the traditional way. My daughter called Gyome Monastery, and my village neighbours as usual. When somebody passes away, we invite each other. But unfortunately, nobody showed up, neither monks nor lay people. So I had to call Serpong Monastery, which is a few hours away in another city. They came and did all the necessary prayers, and everything was done properly, like a normal ceremony. I then heard that my neighbours in the village had held an urgent meeting, talking about threatening me and my little family. They thought if they threatened me, then I would give up my Dorje Shugden practice. There were around 14 people at that meeting, and one guy came to me and said, "Okay, listen, tomorrow we are coming to your house about your practice, so be ready to do what you're told." They came like the guy told me they would. There weren't 14 people though. In the end, there were just 4 people. I have 2 teenage children, 1 boy and 1 girl, and my girl also has a child. 2 people came right up to me and told me to give up my practice, and they started physically to attack me, so I tried to defend myself. But I was worried about my children. I didn't know what was happening to them. They beat my children. My children are very young, but they fought back. I was surprised. The attackers were all adults. Next day, they came to me and told me that they were taking me to court over yesterday's events. And I said, "Okay, that's good for me too. I would like to do that. I will take the 14 people from the meeting to the Indian court, not the Tibetan court." So then they told me going to court is expensive, and I said, "Yes, I know." They said, "Anyway, give us our expenses from yesterday's medical bills." I said, "Not a penny. I am not the one who came to fight with you. You and your friends came here to my place to fight." Then my daughter came out of her rooms and told the guy, "Get out of here, otherwise I'll beat you." And finally they went. Since then, my daughter has moved out to live with her husband in another country. After she left, those people again wanted to beat me simply because I wouldn't give up my practice, and I didn't give my signature. So I wrote a letter, a plea for protection to the local Indian police in Karnataka. A couple of times they had to come and protect me. I felt very insecure now that I was living alone in my house, and I was sure they would come and beat me up sooner or later. All my children had left home and they were now struggling to make a living. Slowly my daughter seemed to change her mind because of pressure from the Tibetan community and from her husband's side. I don't know. She told me, "Don't contact me." I told her, "I have to do my practice, and also I have to honor my late husband, your father." Then she told me they couldn't help me anymore with financial support. So I told her, "It's no problem, I'll find my own food, don't worry. You're what's important now, you're all young." So since that time, myself and my own child, we no longer have a relationship like we did before the ban on Dorje Shugden. So I was alone and very lonely.
What about your eldest son? I heard he's a Geshe living abroad. He's supposed to know the Buddha's teachings. What's your relationship like with him?
We don't have the same relationship that we had before. Geshe-la, my son, cut contact completely. So I didn't know how I would survive on my own. I was old now. I didn't have any support from elsewhere. My life was really becoming miserable. But fortunately, through the kindness of Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, our Kundalini Rinpoche, a Shugden practitioner from a Tisha charitable organization, helped me out for a couple of months. I stayed with him without any problems. But Kundalini Rinpoche has to look after many students, monks and lay people, so sometimes I felt like a burden to him. So I asked Kundalini Rinpoche if he could do me one favor. And he said, "Sure, what is it?" I told him, "I want to give some Dharma service to Shugden Monastery, cleaning and so on. And also now I am getting older and older, and my mum lives in that area. She was over 100 years old." Kundalini Rinpoche arranged for me to live in Shugden Monastery. They were very kind and received me warmly. The monastery gave me a room, kitchen appliances and medical care, and they really looked after me kindly. So then my life became meaningful once again. I accumulate merit there, cleaning and serving the monastery. It's happy and peaceful. So I've had a ton of difficulties from the ban on Dorje Shugden. Look how difficult the Dalai Lama makes it for us. In my case, my children are separated from their mother. There are people divorced, husband from wife, and worst of all, the monastery is split. When the monastery is split, our individual problems are not that much of a big deal. So since then, I say I have no respect for the Dalai Lama. I did receive some teachings from him, but they were all in vain and nothing came from it. Still, sometimes I receive some threats from the Dalai Lama people, but I'm not afraid like I used to be before. They told me I'll be reborn in hell. I told them, "Let me be born there, but the Dalai Lama is not my Lama." And they told me they'll bring me to the Dalai Lama. I said, "Yes, please. I guess the Dalai Lama will say the same thing you're saying, and I will tell him exactly the same thing I am telling you."